Oh, John, you're just so... With your jumpers and your badassery and your hair and your cute little... Oh, I would so do that. Sidelong glances. You're awesome. Oh, hi, Watson. Oh, yes. I promised to compare you right. Hello and welcome to Stuff You Like with Sursum Ursa. Today's special guests are John and Watson. Great. It has been noted that in my Sherlock vs. Holmes review, I got a bit distracted after the 3-minute mark by Benedict Cumberbatch. Sorry, guys. Much more comparison in this review. See, I pay attention. Dr. John Watson is the fictional narrator of our adventures with Holmes. War hero, Afghanistan, because the more things change, doctor, keen writer, and great admirer of Holmes after a mere few minutes' acquaintance. So here's our first difference. We've got two differences and two similarities. Watson really likes Holmes. John cares for Sherlock, he really does. And sometimes he even likes him, and certainly they have a lot of fun together. And he defends him from unknown enemies, and...
You're very loyal, very quickly.
Well, yes, exactly. Thank you, Mycroft. And certainly he thinks that Sherlock is pretty brilliant and awesome and amazing. But... he hasn't yet known Sherlock long enough to have that comfort that Holmes and Watson have. Or maybe, as I mentioned previously, it's Sherlock's quote-unquote sociopathy coming into play, but John and Sherlock have a much more tempestuous relationship in canon than Holmes and Watson do. I mean, John and Sherlock seem to get into a Barney at least once an episode. When Holmes returns several years after Reichenbach, Watson is overjoyed. I mean, so overjoyed that he actually passes out. And when he wakes up, he is just so happy to see Holmes back. Shocked, yes, but happy. And after he comes around, completely satisfied with the explanation given as to why Holmes did that. To take the intradiegetic viewpoint for a moment. Right. Interdiegetic. It's also called the Watsonian viewpoint. You see what they did there? And it means that you try and explain character development or inconsistencies or plot points in universe, as it were. So in this case, the interdiegetic explanation would be Watson is possibly an unreliable narrator. He is writing these books for public consumption. He's a Victorian man. He doesn't want to, talk about the massive Barney that he and Holmes had, in which the phrase, "You can't just disappear and pretend to be dead for 3 years, Holmes," was prominently featured.
Not good.
Bit not good, yeah.
Bit not good, to say the least. The extradiegetic, or Doylean, you see what they did there, viewpoint would be that the books are murder mysteries, and so the important thing is the murder mystery. The important thing is not the character development or how the characters interact with each other. Even though that's a big reason why the books are so loved. But regardless of the explanation of why Watson doesn't yell at Holmes, can you really imagine the John-Sherlock situation playing out in the same way? If Sherlock pulled a stunt like this, what do you imagine the reaction would be? Sherlock would be all...
John?
And John would be all... Difference number 2. John, as I said in my Sherlock and Holmes review, is much more broken than Watson. Watson was physically broken, but his mental state was generally much better than John's. We meet John when he has PTSD, he has nightmares, he has a gun he has stolen from the army, he is borderline suicidal when we first meet him. And he is desperate for something to take that away, and he finds it in Sherlock. Watson has something of that too, that same desperation for excitement. A big similarity between John and Watson is that they're both lady-killing action men. Something you don't see in some of the TV adaptations where Watson is frankly a bit useless. As a contrast to Holmes's woman-hating, love-despising ways, John and Watson are the charmers. Sherlock and Holmes just pretend. And of course both pairs are the ultimate example of heterosexual life partners, or to be strictly accurate, I suppose, het/asexual life partners. In Watson's day, of course, getting down and dirty with your same-sex partner of choice was a one-way ticket to detention at Her Majesty's pleasure. Not if you were a woman. That would still get you in trouble, just not with the law. Heck, Watson even marries and moves out in the books. But never for very long, because you can't keep a good pair down. Second big similarity, and this is my favourite one, John and Watson are very good for their respective consulting detectives. "You're not hurt, Watson. For God's sake, say that you're not hurt." It was worth a wound. It was worth many wounds, to know the depth of loyalty and love which lay behind that cold mask. The clear, hard eyes were dimmed for a moment, and the firm lips were shaking. For the one and only time I caught a glimpse of a great heart, as well as of a great brain. All of my years of humble but single-minded service culminated in that moment of revelation. It's beautiful. It's probably very slashy if you want to look at it like that, but as a tribute to the power of friendship, it is beautiful.
All right. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Sherlock. Sherlock!
That clip from The Great Game is an example, I guess, of the modern equivalent. Not precisely the same one, obviously, but it'll do for now. Watson and John make Holmes and Sherlock become the sort of person who cares if you're all right, who cares that you are not hurt. Lest we forget, the quickest way to really narc Sherlock Holmes is to pick on John Watson. I think that John is a great update to Doyle's original character. He's similar in a lot of ways, which is great, but he's also much more rounded, almost by necessity. We see much more of John's inner workings in Sherlock. The show's emotional core revolves around him, and how he and Sherlock change each other. And how Sherlock becomes the man who cares whether or not you're all right. The Sherlock Holmes stories are murder mysteries, after all, not character studies, but part of the reason that they have endured so long is that the characters are so rich and deep, even if we don't really delve into their psyches very often. It's nice to be able to see that fleshed out on screen in this new series. Speaking of new series, I hear that CBS are planning a modern-day Sherlock Holmes adaptation. What, were the BBC charging you too much for the rights, CBS? Seriously? Okay, well, hey, I am open-minded, it might be good. I'll let you know when I see it. See you all next time. Bye-bye.
The name's Sherlock Holmes and the address is 221B Baker Street. Afternoon.
He's always like that.